Hi, I'm Susan. Welcome to Tea and Games. It's been a while, a couple of weeks since I checked in with y'all. And in that time, we've mostly been playing games that I've talked to y'all about before. This is spring and we're doing a lot of gardening stuff, so that means a lot of times on the weekends, we're just like doing small box games here and there where we can fit them in. And I've started planting seedlings inside and raiding garden stores for stuff I may not actually need, but isn't it nifty? Yeah, gardening is a lot like board games in that way. Anyhow, this past weekend, oh yes, also I am experiencing technical difficulties, which makes it just a little bit harder to get these videos together and up on YouTube. So yeah, that may slow things down a bit, but this past weekend, isn't it lovely how this all comes together? We finally played the 2 Canvas expansions, which I got Canvas, base game, retail. And we liked it. And so when expansions came up on Kickstarter, a 3rd expansion, because I had not even gotten the 2nd expansion, I got the 2nd and 3rd expansions. And they were delivered a few weeks ago, but we just hadn't had a chance to sit down and go into them. I opened up the boxes and looked at them and went, oh, wow, I don't know what I'm looking at here. Because it's like it's been like almost a year and a half since I did the Kickstarter. I'm going like, what did I do? But we sat down and we played them, and the good news is we liked them. And I mean, expansions, you can look at them and think, I kind of do want this, and wouldn't this be neat? But you don't actually know if you're going to like them and if they're going to do good things to your game until you play them. Just like you can't really know about a game until you play them, though I do recommend that you just research the heck out of games before you play them. It saves a lot of disappointment and regret. The first expansion, now when I packed everything away after we played, and the 2 games we played, the first thing we did is we did base game and the first expansion, which was Reflections. And when I packed everything away, I kind of stuffed most of the stuff into the base game box, though some of the stuff is still in these boxes. So when I take stuff out of these boxes, this is not representative of what's in the box, because it's kind of gotten a little bit jumbled here. There are some kind of interesting, pull stuff over here, extra stuff, which we got. There are award cards. I also upgraded the base game to Deluxe, because I didn't have Deluxe before, and Deluxe comes with some extra cards and some bonus stuff and little bit of extra stuff, but it does not come with the tiny nifty little easels that the original Kickstarter did, which was sharply disappointing, but what can you do? They're just not offering them anymore. So, I mean, if you want those tiny little easels, that's going to be hard to come by. Rule book for our base game. Oh, yes. These are extra award cards that you can get, and they are double-sided, so there's actually twice as many extra award things that you can award. And I am not sure if these came with one of the base games or if they were the deluxe upgrade for this. I am not a professional board gamer. My husband, Robert, and I, we are casual weekend board gamers. We're kind of probably a lot like you. And one of the things it does is that there are some Kickstarter exclusive cards, like this one, and it shows you here, this one you may see it has like this little gray ribbon here that doesn't say what you get it for, but it explains on here you just take a bonus ribbon. And this also explains some new icons, which is in, I think, one of the base games, or maybe it's the deluxe, where you double the icon that it's next to, that that the doubling thing is next to, which is nifty, and that came in so handy. There are, now I can't pick that back up again. Here we go. There are some things that are really good about this. There are some teeny tiny, and I do mean teeny tiny, annoying things on here. How do I know, for instance, that this card came as like a Kickstarter exclusive card? I'm turning it the wrong way because this is not, there we go. Because, and you will not be able to see this, in fact, I can hardly see this, there is a teeny tiny little K right there. And for the Reflections expansion, they have, you remember those old movies like in the 60s, the spy movies, where they were trying to get a thing and the thing had a micro dot on it, which had all kinds of super secret encoded information. The cards, in order to show you which expansion you have, in case you want to separate them out, the Reflections expansion cards have a teeny tiny little micro dot right there, which you can't probably even see, which has an R in it, very, very small. That tells you that it is a card for Reflections. And if it's a card for Reflections Deluxe, it will have an even smaller R and D because you have to squeeze those letters into that tiny dot. And the same thing for Finishing Touches has an F, and Finishing Touches Deluxe has FD. So if you want to separate those things out and you want to do it with the minimum of eye strain, like get yourself a magnifying glass when you're going to pack everything away, or if you're sorting out cards that got mixed in the previous game. The artwork on the new cards is very lovely. I'm looking right now at Reflections. They have some lovely new artwork, and this is one of the reasons why, really the main reason why I got expansions is, even though we like to play Canvas, we play it a fair amount, but not like huge numbers. But we noticed that the cards were getting a bit repetitive. I mean, we still had the same challenge of making the scoring goals, but the artwork was less ooh, wow, nifty new because we were seeing it, and in some cases even seeing the same combinations again. So I got the expansion because I just wanted more cards. Quite honestly, a Canvas expansion for me, I would have been happy if they had just gave me a nice fat deck of cards, maybe a few more scoring goal cards of a different sort, and that would have been fine. I would have been happy with that. But they felt like they had to do a little bit more, or in the case of Reflections, a lot more. These cards are reversible, which is nifty. In some cases, the reverse side just has a different color of the same thing, but in other kinds, they fit a shape of something totally different on the back side of the card, which is kind of neat. And it has an icon here that has a little arrow that tells you that this card is reversible. And as far as what you know about, this helps a lot in making scoring goals, because think about this for a minute. This card here, this is a purple texture icon, but when you turn the card over, it will be a red texture icon because those colors are always going to be lined up in the same order. So that means you're looking at this card here as a potential card to get, and you're thinking, yes, but I really needed a purple texture. And you're going like, right, turn it over, and it is. So it gives you the reversible cards, actually, the ones that have reverse on them, they actually give you a few more options for some of your colors, because you're going to have colors, and you're looking at this here, but that card could also be played as this. So that makes it easier to make some of those things, because frankly, there have been times in the base game, particularly at 2 players, where we've got the cards lined up there and we're going like, right, there's just nothing that, I mean, the thing that I need is not there. There's nothing of that color, or it's way down at the end where we can't afford it, or or I just don't have the right color, I don't have the right icon, or whatever. I don't have the right icon with the right color I need. So the reversible made a huge difference in that. That made it a little bit smoother. It made it a little bit easier, particularly with a two-player game where the cards don't cycle through quite as fast. You don't get stuck quite as often. And the reversible cards, you may have noticed when I held this up, it had something shiny on it here. This is a new scoring criteria where you get a gold ribbon. Actually, the wooden ribbons that you get with the deluxe thing, they're kind of a dingy sort of gold. The cardboard actually looks better. It's kind of a nasty gold color, but the cardboard ones, which would be what you get with retail, they actually look like this, and that's pretty good. So this is what you would score for. It's the same as the gray scoring on the base game, basically, only it's gold. And besides those and the nifty reversibility, and you've got all kinds of really great new artwork on here. Also had like, we have award buttons. Those are pin-on, and they have like the cardboard ones, which I think will be retail. There is a signature style variant, which we did not mess with at all. And this, oh, I don't even know which one that goes into. Yes. Here are the gold icons that are cardboard. And these are the gold icons that are wood. See, they're kind of muddy. The reversible ones, when you add this with the base deck and shuffle them in, there is a ever so slight problem in that they will not all fit into the deck box that you've got to use, so you can't see what's coming up next, and it also keeps the cards from just sliding everywhere. So you will just shuffle them in and put as many as you can comfortably put into the deck box. When you use either one of the expansions, we have new background cards, and I have there are extra background cards in both of the expansions, and I've just put them all together into the base game. But there's a few of them that's a little bit more representational, like waterfalls, and this look like trees in a mist, and this could be a planet. This is definitely a tree, a foresty kind of thing. But yeah, and here's some lightning. So, I mean, but they do still have things that are just pretty abstract sky and just kind of a green wash and pink. Oh, but here's a mountain. So it gives you a few more options for backgrounds and a lot of different colors. And I put them all in here so I can't tell you immediately which. And the background cards also have the tiny micro dot on them. This one is from Finishing Touches. And so is this one. What about these here? I never noticed that before. But yes, they do have the micro dot on them, like the translucent cards do. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to tell you about this stuff. Oh yes, the big thing, and it is big, it's really, really big, about Finishing Touches. You may be going, ooh, because there are reversible cards and nifty other scoring thingies, and you also get scorecards, new scoring goal cards with each of the expansions. And we played the first game recommendation on the back for both of those, which worked out really well for Reflections, less well for Finishing Touches. Let's see if I can do this without knocking anything over. You now have an actual physical board, which is kind of a good news, bad news situation. I like it in some ways, in terms of table presence and, you know, just the look and laying things out, and it doesn't curl up like the little canvas thing does. Canvas. But it actually is laid out in a way that it changes gameplay. Let me move this aside so that I can show you here. I'm being eaten by a giant canvas board. it has spots here. They're outlined with the colors. Let me just do this here. That show you where you put your various scoring tiles and the ribbons. The round places are where you put the ribbons. I'm looking at the screen instead of the camera. Sorry, the round places are where you put the ribbons. The square places are where you put the scoring thingies, the scoring cards. And this gives you the scoring for the gray cards, which are in the base game, and the scoring for the gold cards, which goes here and here, respectively, for the reflections thing. But look at the card layout here. Instead of a single line, you have a double line. And they're saying, like, this makes it just so much better because you have access to more cards and easier to get cards and stuff. And, ooh, I'm not sure this makes things easier. Because what they don't tell you until you get to the rule book is you have to pay for those slots. When it was in a single line, you would just put like an inspiration, the first one's free, and then you put an inspiration token on whatever else is, you know, any ones beyond that that you want to go to. But let me see if I can half fold this up here so I can show this to you here. But on this one, you're going to lay out cards in these slots. And these two, the furthest away from the deck box, these two will be your 2 free cards. So that's the good news. You now have access to 2 free cards. But the bad news is, once you go 1 column deeper, you're going to really pay for it. Because let's say you want to get the card that's right here. That means that you don't put an inspiration token here and take that card. You put an inspiration token here and take that card. And if you want to get this card here, you don't just put an inspiration token here and here to pick up that card. You put an inspiration token here and here and here and here to get that card. Everything to the left of it, top and bottom. So, yeah, we were not happy about that because while you have more free cards and you've got more cards laid out there, and this may not be too much of a problem with a game that has more than 2 players because the cards will cycle faster, but we kind of felt like, ouch! Because, yeah, you got access to 2 free cards, but beyond that, you're actually ending up paying more to go just 1 row deeper. I mean, 1 card deeper into the stack. So, yeah, we were not terribly happy about that. But it worked out okay. I have to say, it did work out okay. Gameplay was smooth. We liked it. We enjoyed it a lot. Let me see if I can scoop everything back into here. And I do have the cards separated out for right now. When we played Reflections with the board and the base game cards mixed in. We did not use these award tokens, which goes here. But we did use everything else. And we liked it. We liked it a lot. It's definitely worth it. It gives you more cards, and the Kickstarter deluxe thingies gives you even more cards. And that's what I really wanted, more cards and more variety in the scoring conditions. Which brings us to finishing touches. Okay. Admittedly, we didn't get to this until late in the day because we did stuff outside and other things like in the morning, and then we had a Zoom with friends, and we had lunch, and then we did some other stuff. And so we played Canvas like earlier, and then we did not with the Reflections expansion, and we did not get to this until later in the day. By which point in time I was tired. I had had half a beer, and and I was maybe not my sharpest, though Robert was at his sharpest, and he was a little so-so on this. I think one of the problems was this was one of our lowest scoring games of Canvas because we used what they said to use for the first game in the book for the finishing touches expansion, and we did not play it with Reflections. We played finishing touches with the base game, and we played it with the base game map, the Canvas rollout thing, because we wanted to see how this played with just the base game, though it is set up so that you can play it with the previous expansion and the board and those extra scoring things. This is an extension to your board. If you're playing with the regular mat, you lay this beside the mat and it gives you the scoring for, if you're playing with just the mat, it gives you the scoring on this side for reflections and on this side for finishing touches. Or maybe it's vice versa, but it's one or the other. And I haven't had anything stronger than tea this morning. Maybe I should have had more tea, huh? But this, like the previous expansion, it gives you extra scoring doohickeys, shiny stuff. And in this case, the wooden pieces that you get with Deluxe look pretty much just like the cardboard pieces. They are appropriately shiny. There is a painter variant in this in which you're having extra scoring conditions or extra setup conditions in some cases. It just changes the game up. And they have more awards card per animal, per metal, per wood, the signature style variant and the painter variant. We did not play with any of these variants. It also comes with a score pad, which we did not use and probably should have. Although, honestly, we did so badly with this expansion on the base game that there wasn't a lot to score. Because the setup, the scoring cards they had you do for your first game, 2 of the cards were mutually exclusive, meaning if you got one of them, you would not be able to get the other. And I found that a little frustrating. I kind of like scoring conditions that are all very different from each other. Or if you're having a really good day, you know, you have them where the scoring conditions are work together to make good synergy. But at the very least, it's really, really tough when you have scoring conditions that you basically have to choose which of the scoring conditions you're going to score, and then you get really low scoring games, which could be why there's like a lot of extra scoring things that you can do now, because each of the expansions adds a ribbon thingy that will give you an extra scoring condition on the cards that are in it. And this one also has... These cards are not reversible for finishing touches. They are not reversible, which is a pity. I really like those reversible cards. But they do have nifty artwork, and they do have a new icon, which we struggled with making work. This icon is called the blend icon, in which you can blend colors or transfer the icon from one color to the next one or the one adjacent to it. We never really got the hang of that. And it could be because it was late in the day and we were tired, and I was about half blended myself, having started work on a beer before I started the game. And the shiny star down here is what you would get for the extra scoring icon for these shiny metal scoring thingies. But it gives you a lot more cards, a lot more nifty new artwork, and it seems like I think we would have done better with this game and enjoyed it more if we would have had different scoring conditions. I have one teeny tiny concern, which I'm going to need to play it more to know if this is actually a thing. But I'm a tiny bit concerned that when you're rolling in these expansions, because each of these expansions have their own bonus scoring. The base game has the gray things for the bonus scoring. Reflections has gold, Finishing Touches has silver. But each one of those things on the cards, they take up a slot. You know, they take up a slot down here, which might be useful in making scoring conditions if they had had an actual other icon on them. So that's one thing I'm not sure about, is that if you're playing with the base game, if it actually makes it tougher to get certain scoring conditions with icons because you have the base game bonus scoring plus the expansion bonus scoring, or possibly plus 2 expansions with 2 other bonus scorings, that it makes there be fewer icons for you to match up to scoring conditions. I'm not sure about that, but I do have a tiny concern about it. But one thing we liked, because we did not get tiny easels, they don't make those for the base game deluxe upgrade anymore. Finishing Touches comes with frames. And they're nice looking. There are crossbars in the back to, see how the frames are made to fit these things in here so that they won't collapse on you. The finished paintings, whoa, and I didn't do that very well. The finishing paintings are slid in. There's a gap here at the top, and they're slid into the top. And what happens is that if you have, say, the most texture plus star, then when you do a painting, then you would claim this frame and put your painting into it. But, or just claim the frame, I guess, since the frame can move. If somebody else on another round gets more of those, then they claim the frame. Perhaps these frames are only meant to be used at the very end of the game. And this has the most color wheels plus star. And this has the most triangles plus the silver star, which is the bonus scoring icon for Finishing Touches. And this has the sun symbol plus the silver star. Here's the thing, though, and maybe this goes into what I was saying about the bonus things taking up slots that could have been used for other scoring icons, or maybe it was just the way we had them shuffled in. We didn't see too many of the star icons during the game that we played of this when we were going through the deck, and we had these shuffled in with the base game. So the star icons, and you only get to claim these if you have the most of a regular icon plus the star from this expansion. There are only 3 star icons turned up in the entire game. And there was no stealing the frames back and forth between us, because each one of us got like the most of one thing, and Robert got the most of one thing, and I think I got the most of 2 things. And at the end of the game, we still had 1 empty frame. So they look nifty, though, don't they? They really do. I mean, I like this in terms of game presence and everything, but it seemed to us to be kind of hard to do because we just were not getting these special icons on those. And oddly enough, we weren't doing that well with the regular icons either because of the scoring criteria. One of the scoring criteria was, of course, the one from the base game where you have every color slot filled. That's a very popular one because it's usually easy to get, though we have had games where we had a hard time getting a certain color. There was one game where green was just not there. It was like 1 green in the whole game. Bad shuffling, perhaps. But we enjoyed this, and we liked the little frame thingies. But I think it's going to play better if we use different scoring things, because besides the base game composition one of the scoring cards for this one is you had to have a specific icon, I don't remember now which one it was, next to an unfilled slot, meaning that you had to have not managed to get one of the colors. So I mean, that's kind of good for a consolation prize if it looks like you're not going to be able to make the composition scoring goal. But as a general rule, you don't want to shoot for having empty slots, because all of the other scoring criteria are based upon you being able to optimize the icons in those slots. So, yeah, we found that one a little counterproductive. But we enjoyed both of these. But I mean, I kind of feel like if you like canvas, then there's probably going to be small things about the expansions that you might go, I don't know about that. But I think overall, if you like canvas, you're probably going to like one or both of the expansions. I particularly like those double-sided cards because I found that they were really, really helpful in providing me with a greater range of colors to choose from, because the flip side will be the color on the other end of the spectrum. So I was very pleased with the double-sided cards. And I like the 2X thing, which honestly, I'm not sure now whether or not the 2X thing was for the deluxe canvas, or if it came in one of the, or if it came in reflections. But the icon where you can double the icon next to it, that was also handy. That may just be a deluxe thing. I would need to dig through the cards to look. Not a professional board game person. And needless to say, I don't get free stuff. I'm just an ordinary board gamer, so nothing is promo. But yeah, this has got some very, very nice stuff. And I really like the frames and finishing touches. The scoring ribbons are just an extra scoring thing because all of them have one bonus scoring thing. And I'm thinking at some point we may want to house rule how we use those bonus scoring things, because like choose certain cards and pull cards that have these scoring things on them to set aside so that we just have more cards, but not necessarily 3 different bonus scorings if we have these all rolled together. I am looking forward to playing all of these games together, which we did not do this past weekend. And I do want to play Finishing Touches by itself again. Actually, what I want to do is, because we played Finishing Touches with the base game, I want to do a game of Finishing Touches using the board. That may also affect gameplay, because the board does change the gameplay and decision-making a little bit, because things are pricey. At least it seemed that way to us. I just was not happy. I wanted there to be more cheap and free stuff. And I look like I'm not going to be able to get this back in here because the frames are sticking up, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to have to rearrange that off camera. But I hope you have enjoyed this little look at our adventures in the art world. It's a fun game. It is, I should say, with the expansions, I still feel like this is an entry-level game. There's a little bit extra bonus stuff and extra stuff. So, I mean, I think if somebody really wasn't familiar with modern board games, I might just start with the base game. But I feel like if you've played the base game, you're going to be able to pick up these very, very easily. I mean, sometimes it's like you get the base game and then you get the expansion and you start the learning curve all over again, because the expansion is nearly as complicated as the base game. But not so with Canvas. The base game is very simple. If you know how to play the base game, essentially, you know how to play the expansions, and they just add a few extra things in there. So getting up to speed with the expansions is pretty easy. We really need to look at that blended thing a little bit, because we were just tired and just going like, I don't know. But no, we put this there and So yeah, we're not the best people to learn board games from. There are a lot of really good channels out there that will tell you everything you need to know about whether or not you would like a game and how to play it. That's not me. I just like to sit around and chat about board games with y'all. And we have new subscribers. Welcome to new subscribers. I was pleasantly surprised to see the numbers have started going up again. I never know why the numbers suddenly start going up sometimes. The only thing I can think of is that somebody liked it and told somebody else who told somebody else. But anyway, happy you're here. it's been fun. And I will see y'all next time around the table. Hopefully next week, if I do not continue to have technical difficulties. It may take me a while to get this video up. See you next time around the table. Bye.